Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. So the video today on a 2012, I think it is, 2012 Honda Jazz. The engine on this is the 1.2 petrol. And right, what's the problem with this car? Misfiring. Misfiring, I think it's cylinder 3, I was told. Now apparently this car came from another garage. Now, well, it's not really a garage. Well, it is a garage. He's a guy that I know that he sells cars, and he also has a mechanic working there. Apparently, they have sent injectors to be tested, I think. They told them the injectors were good, and now they brought it to me literally saying that the problem is the ECU. So obviously we're gonna have to do a few checks before we get to any conclusions, but first of all let me show you the misfiring because it was quite noticeable when the car was dropped. So let's gonna start this thing and let me show you the misfiring. So that's gonna start. Okay, let's gonna open the bonnet and let's gonna have a look at it. So engine light on. Quite visible at the exhaust. It's running a little bit rough. You can definitely see that there is something wrong with this. So ESP light is also on, but it's normal sometimes for the ESP light to be on when there is problems with the engine that affects its power, which obviously the ESP cannot control, cannot take control over the torque of the engine, and therefore the ESP becomes unavailable as well. So let's gonna just plug in the maxi sys and see what we have. Okay, and this is a Jazz. There we go. Actually it comes up at 2013, but doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go to diagnosis. And I think I'm going to go through an auto scan just to make sure we capture all systems. Don't really need all systems, but anyway, let's going to leave it to go through the auto scan and then we'll check it out. Okay, scan just finished. Well, it finished a few minutes ago, but anyway, doesn't matter. So we have 10 faults on my engine ECU and 1 fault on my ABS, just to confirm, or VSA, ESP, whatever you want to call it. So let's just confirm that this fault is actually due to the faults on the engine, which I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. No questions asked. Quite normal, guys. If you have anything that affects the engine performance, the ESP will also fault. So it's just a normal thing. Anyway, let's gonna go to my, let's read the codes. It's gonna go to my engine and see exactly what we have in there. Most likely these faults to be 10 of them. Some might be old faults, maybe, don't know. It's gonna cha-down. Oh, DME. Wow. Okay, there is actually 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Injector circuit. So injector circuit. Injector circuit, okay. That's gonna do one thing. Okay, just erase the codes. Let's gonna start this thing again. Okay, and the ESP light will come in a second. I just want to go over the codes again. So injector circuit, temporary. So we have an issue with these two injectors, 2 and 4. They are going to be controlled most likely. Okay, no, let's not gonna start to assume anything. Let's quick look at live data. Injection, anything here for the injection? Terminate a signal. F injector, will that be that? 3.95 advance, knock retard, knock to control, evap. Okay, so I mean, because it's only down to injector 2 and 4, I'm not going to go for nothing that would influence a misfiring on all the injectors. On all the cylinders. So this is obviously narrowed down to 2 of the cylinders. Misfiring, there we go, look at that, bang bang bang, it's one after the next. And there we go, 2 and 5, 2 and 4. There we go, 2 and 4. I guess this resumes to 0 every certain, there we go, probably every, I don't know, maybe 1,000 revolutions or something like that. Again, misfiring, so misfirings everywhere. Okay, so let's gonna start with the basics, guy, even though I believe they already did it. Let's gonna start to check the basics, nothing else. The basics first. Okay, and started by removing these back covers. So they are here, and everything else, air filter box. So that gives us enough room for us to work, but also because I want to see what has been done. And as you can see in there, quite easy to see that someone has been here and left it like that. But that's, I'm used to this, so nothing new. Everything's a little bit not very well worked on. Yeah. Okay, let's gonna start to do some basic checks. So our faults, if you remember, they are for injector circuits 3 and 4. So that's what we're gonna focus on. Okay, so I have unplugged every single injector, including, I believe this is the, what is this? So EGR maybe? 90% sure. Looks like the EGR to me. And I pulled this out, and the first thing, this tells me a lot about who works on cars. Look at that. Everybody can do mistakes, but to be honest with you, judging by a lot of stuff, it starts not looking very good. Yeah, they trapped that wire in there. Let's gonna open this trunking and see what we find out. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is measure the injector's resistance. So let's see if I can get to the first one here, which I believe is number 1. Don't know if you can see, is how much is that? About 11 ohms, so not too bad, I think. Just let's compare with the other ones. 11.3, so about right. Same as the first one. 11.3, and number 4. 9.3, so a little bit lower on number 4. A little bit lower on number 4, but don't think that's too far out to make a problem. From 9.5 to 11. Next thing we're going to check, I have ignition on right now, so if this works the way I think it does work, you should have constant voltage on one of the pins, and then the ECU is going to ground the other pin to obviously open the injector. So let's gonna have a look, just make sure. So this is that's going to be number 4, which is one of the injectors that is faulting. There we go, 12 volts. So there we go. Next one, 12 volts. Wrong wire. 12 volts. wrong wire again, 12 volts, so all good. So now let me see what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I had a look at diagrams because I want to understand what else this feeds. These 12 volts, they feed not just the injectors. It feeds the injectors, it feeds the crank shaft sensor, and it feeds the charcoal ventilation valve. So I'm gonna guess that if my problem was the 12 volts feeding here, first of all, my faults will not be only for those two injectors in particular. Most likely will fault for other injectors, but also would fault for all these other sensors. So I'm gonna guess that this is not going to be a problem, just because this is powered by a relay, so it could be a poor contact on a relay. But the fact that it's throwing 2 and 4 all the time, to me, that means it's not a power supply issue. It's going to be the trigger side coming from the engine ECU. So I already know which. So I've removed the ECU, by the way, so I know which plug it goes onto. I think is plug C. Don't know if they are numbered here. They are not, so I'm gonna have to figure out which one is C. But anyways, pins C5, C6, C7 and C8. So let's gonna look for some continuity here. So that's good. Let me look for my, oh dear, there's no numbers on this. Crap. How am I gonna figure out what is what? There's no numbers here either. Japanese, they didn't make these any easier. They didn't make these easy. Okay. Let me figure out which ones are, and I will show you once I know. Found my plug. So plug C is the bottom one, which is the one with the green sort of plastic here. And number 4, I believe, is pin 8. So A, B, C is gonna be here, C7. So 10, there's numbers here. So when you put the plug like this, are you seeing the plug? Just kind of. Let me move the phone a little bit so we can all see what's going on. Okay, so that's better. It's gonna go to injector number 4 then, which is the wire that goes to the ECU. It is a yellow wire, which is gonna be, you have some numbers here. So 1 to 10, and then it goes up to 50, 60 to 49. 49. So is number 8, but I think it's gonna be this one here. Let's kind of check it. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Spot on. It's my yellow wire there. 0.2 ohms. Now we're going to move to number 3, which I can see here on the plug is my blue wire, which is the wire straight after. Can be that one in there. So 0.2. Now next is the red wire. It's going to move into the red. Let me move it here on the injector, which is number 2. Again, spot on. Just do a little bit of a jiggle, see if I... That's all good. I don't like these wires here the way they are, but... Oh dear me. Okay, anyway, let's move now into the last one, which is a brown wire, which, yep, brown wire. It's gonna be that one, that one in there. Brown wire. There we go. All good. At this point, guys, I might agree that we have a bad ECU by the looks of it. Oh well, it really looks like a bad ECU. I definitely don't like this. These wires here all for... Oh, why they do this? Why they left these like this? It makes no sense. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. Okay, let me think how we're gonna do this. I don't have these covers. These covers are gone missing. I might just wrap these wires a little bit better on tape. Sorry about that, guys. I might just gonna wrap up these a little bit better, try to secure these here somehow. There's no covers here, so I'll do what I can. That's broken, yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. Crap. So I'm gonna do a few more checks, but right now, guys, it really looks like a bad ECU. Okay, and after a few more checks, well, there was not much more to check. I think it's going to be the ECU. I could have moved the injectors, etc., but I'm going to go here a little bit. They took them off. I can see the coil packs at the back. They've been replaced. Not replaced. They've been moved in. They have been moved around. And obviously the injectors, definitely there is signs they have been out. So I'm going to guess that they are good. And I believe it's the ECU. Now, to open this ECU, guys, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to repair it, but this is definitely within one of the worst ECUs I ever had to open. What a nightmare, guys. It's that glued. It's been really difficult to open. But I'm nearly there. So finally managed to get it opened. I have already identified the circuitry for the injectors, so I put there 1, 2, 3 and 4 because it's these circuits here. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if you remember, the faulty ones is 2 and 4, and they are on actually opposite circuitries. So this series of resistors here is for number 2, and then number 4 is going to come, the trigger is going to come to there. So they are not even in the same. It's really odd that they are faulty in this way. These resistors here, I've been measuring them, they look okay. So yeah, I'm going to measure these now to see how they are, but yeah. Sorry guys, like always, got interrupted. So as I was saying, they look alright. However, if you look, I don't know how good the camera is going to capture this, but you can definitely see when you look. Let me see if I get a better angle. But can you see? Yes, you kind of can. Can you see the discoloration when you look at number 1? You look at number 2, number 3, number 4. Can you see the different color on these ones? Can you see the discoloration on them? I know the camera is not really capturing. You can even see in the middle where they've been overheating. Look at that. Can you? I don't know. I mean, the camera is not capturing really well, but I can definitely see a discoloration on these. I believe they are like switches. So, so these 3 pins here, they are grounded, and then when you get a signal on this pin, they close circuit and they just allow the voltage. They ground down there. So, they are like MOSFETs, I think they are. Right, do I have anything like this? Not really sure. And looks like I don't. Surprise, surprise. I found them for sale in the UK, not in the UK, in China. I haven't looked properly yet, but I'm going to dig a little bit more into it. In the meantime, I asked a few people to see if anyone has some spares of this. We'll see how we go. So, but what I've done for now is, I swap this driver with that driver MOSFET. To me, they are switched. We don't need to go too technical here. So what I've done is, I moved this one, the one that was here on number 2, I moved it to number 1, and number 1 to number 2. And this is purely, guys, just for the video. Look, guys, I know you can't really see this. You can kind of see like this. Obviously, now the discoloration are on the edge ones, because I swapped these first 2. But they are definitely discolored. No questions about it. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to try it just for the video. We're going to plug it in, start the car, and see if my issue moved from cylinder 2 to number 1. If it did, then we don't need any more proof. Even though, guys, I'm 99.9% sure that this is a driver problem. Okay, so everything is kind of plugged in there. We're just going to scan the car, make sure I have no codes for the... Where am I? I'm now on the engine ECU, that's for sure. Oh yeah, because the airbag light was coming on, but it was just the battery that was too low. So I have 3 faults right now. which most likely is for the airflow meter and intake temperature. Yeah, there we go. So it is all for that because it is disconnected. I'm just going to show you how everything is in there. My phone is nearly, the battery is quite low. So there is. So the engine ECU is plugged in there, but the airflow meter is disconnected. But everything is ready for me to start the engine. So that's going to do it. Oh, dear me. So I'm not going to delete these codes because it's pointless. So we're just going to come out of the ECU completely. And that's going to start this side of the ignition. It's running. Okay. Moment of the truth. If my fault moved to injector 1, there we go. We have the answer. And look at that. Bingo! Look at that. See? So now we have 4 because I never touched 4, but I moved 1 with 2, swapped them around, and as you can see now my fault moved to injector 1. So no questions that those drivers are bad. Now it's a matter of me try to get hold of them. So I'm gonna dig a little bit on Google, see if I find them for sale, and if I do, I will buy them, replace them. I will see if I get all of them. Actually, I'll replace all 4 just to make sure, and once we have that done, obviously we'll finish this video. But up to this point, guys, there's no questions that the problem is those drivers. I'm getting interrupted every 2 minutes today. Bloody hell. As I was saying, so no questions that the problem is those 2 drivers. Now, at this point, guys, yes, I could have get a scope, start to check the pulse from the ECU, blah, 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 blah. It was really needed, guys. So, again, you don't need too expensive tools to diagnose things properly. You just need a little bit of common sense and do the right checks. So, yeah, let's gonna see if I can get hold of these drivers to repair this ECU. And I cannot believe this. Oh, right. So I've literally just finished programming a replacement ECU onto this, which, okay, so I explained why I got a replacement ECU rather than those drivers, those transistors. I'll explain that in a bit, but I programmed a replacement ECU, which I've done a video for it, programming the ECU with the MaxiSys, which you're going to see dead easily, really, really straightforward. The new ECU is now in there, so as you can see, the other ECU still there. So the new used ECU is there, and you can't believe this. Look at that. Cylinder 2 and cylinder 4. So at this point, guys, you could probably say, well, there's something wrong with the car. No, it's not. You remember when I moved the faulty transistor on that ECU from position 2 to position 1. You know exactly what happened. The misfire moved to cylinder 1. So this is clear as water that this ECU came exactly with the same fault as the ECU I had on this car. Right, I don't know how I'm going to edit this video, but hopefully by the end, if you don't skip nothing on the video, it will make sense. So, the ECU I programmed came faulty. Same problem as the original one. So I ended up by fitting the original one back into the car and returned the one I bought. In the meantime, as you can see, I bought another ECU, and which just arrived today. So there it is, just arrived today. It's exactly the same ECU as this one. Even came with a bracket and plugs, but it's exactly the same ECU as the one I bought earlier. So 37820 RB2 G13. The original from the car is a G17, but that should not make a difference. So now we're going to try to program that one, and hopefully that one is good. I paid a little bit more for that one, but I managed to return the other one, even though I had to pay for the postage So yeah, so let's gonna put that one in, program it, and see if this time works. Again, guys, it's gonna be a video for how to program the ECU using the Maxi Sys, which actually I've done one programming the other video, the other ECU, but I think I'm gonna scrap it because even I was a little bit confused how this was done, and it ended up not being very good. So am I gonna record now again a proper video, separate video, just to show you just how to program the ECU. To be honest, no rocket science, that simple, but I will do it. Anyway, let's gonna program these new ECU, or second-hand ECU, and see if I get away, or see if we fix the misfiring problem. And literally, guys, if you watch the video, or when you watch the video for the programming of this, you will see that straight after this screen, I started the car, and the car is running beautifully. Guys, as soon as I started this engine, my relief, because of the fact that, again, I've diagnosed a second-hand ECU as faulty, because the first ECU I got was faulty. And you know when you get an ECU, like in this case, I got the ECU, put it on the car, the exact same fault, and you think, oh my dear, there's something on the car actually, as I explained, but it couldn't be. And but there is, in the back of your head, there's always that little thought that what if? But no, guys, it's running absolutely perfect, no lights. Let me show you how the engine is running now. Oh. There we go. As you can see, there's no misfirings. We're going to check the live data anyway, just to make sure, but there is no misfirings at all. Okay, so this is already done, doesn't really matter. It's going to come out of this. I'm so happy. Oh dear, you only took two ECUs. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna make probably today actually, because I've mentioned that on the Land Rover, which I've stick to my new rules, and I broke my own rules on this particular car for one reason that I'm not gonna mention it, but I've broke my own rules and I've regretted straight away as soon as I plugged in that ECU. But very quickly, guys, is I'm not buying any more second-hand parts for anyone. Okay, I'll buy if it's for myself, but not for anyone else. The reason is, like, this is a very good example. I got a faulty ECU, I had to send it back, had to pay for the postage to send it back, plus all the hassle to deal with it, etc, etc, etc. And now, how am I gonna ask the guy? And another thing is, guys, when I send parts back, I always send parts on signed for or registered, because last thing you want is to send a part and then at the other end they're gonna say, well, we haven't received nothing, and then what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So unfortunately, there is people capable of anything and everything, so I always send signed for. So now, in this case, how am I going to tell the owner of the car that he's going to have to give me £15 extra because the first ECU came faulty, I had to send it back, etc, etc. and he's going to say, well, but that was not my fault. But was not my fault either, wasn't it? So I now have a new rule, which is, if people want genuine parts from the dealer, I will happily go, pay for it, bring it, fit it on the car. If they want second-hand, used parts, aftermarket parts, they will go and they will supply the parts. Because if something is wrong, like in this case, I could have just ring the guy, give him the module back and say, look, this module is faulty, you deal with it. And I would have no hassle. Guys, anyone that follows my channel knows that this is a part-time for me, is a hobby. I don't need the stress. Some of the stress is part of this and I like it, but not this sort of not this sort of stuff when you start to lose money, etc, etc, by having to send parts back and then not get your money back. It's no, I don't need this. So Anyway, I'll be making a video just for that, explaining you. So because I'm gonna start to mention some videos, like I'm just waiting for the owner to bring the parts, etc, etc. And for you guys that might just landed on the channel, or for you guys that have been used to see me buying the parts, etc, you might gonna start to see that's changing. So I don't need to explain what I've just explained on every single video. I'm just gonna make a quick talking video explaining my new protocols. And yeah, but that's what it is, guys. And this was actually a very good example where it took me 2 modules to get this car running properly. Anyway, let's gonna just quick check that there is no codes on the car. Let's quick check the live data for the misfiring, and we're gonna see there is no misfirings. I can see the engine running absolutely perfect. What is the misfire? Oh, there is. So no misfiring. This is the misfiring cycle, but this is when it detects the misfirings. As you can see, there's no misfirings anywhere. Look, misfiring cycle 0. No cylinders, misfirings. No misfiring. Beautiful. So, in the end, guys, a bad ECU. Well, 2 bad ECUs. Right. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this video yet, because I was recording a little bit of different clips, but hopefully, again, will make sense by the time you reach this point. And I think that's it. With no further ado, guys. Now this ECU, I don't know if the guy is gonna give me this ECU, or if he gives me this ECU. By the way, let me explain you just before I go. Let me explain you why I have replaced the ECU rather than getting the chips. The reason why I have replaced this ECU is because the chips for this ECU, those transistors, I could not find these transistors for sale in the UK. I couldn't find them. So, the only place I found them was on China. Believe me or not, as of now, I'm waiting for nearly 6 weeks for 4 EEPROMs that I've ordered from China. Now with the UK out of the EU, customers, etc, it's been a nightmare to get anything. And yeah, I just don't want to risk it. I bought those EEPROM just to test, and it's not going very well. 6 weeks waiting. The EEPROMs was the same thing. Was a long waiting time. I could get them quicker if I would pay for express delivery or something like that, but believe me, the express delivery plus the chips, I was not just buying 2, I was buying actually 4. No, sorry, I was buying 8, because I would be replacing all of them, and I would keep some extra for me. I was ordering 8 of those chips plus the postage was more money than I paid for this ECU now. The first ECU was slightly cheaper, but oh well, it came faulty anyway. But this second ECU was, as you have seen, the price for it. Yeah, the chips plus the postage was more than I paid for this ECU, so it didn't really worth. Unfortunately, is the way it is. But if the guy let me to keep this ECU, I might risk it, and I will buy the chips on the cheap side. I will buy the chips on the cheap side because I will be in no rush. And when I get them, I will have them replaced, and then hopefully I will have a spare ECU, a working spare ECU. So yeah, that's why I went the route to replace rather than get the chips, even though we knew exactly what's wrong with this ECU, and it was just a matter of getting those chips. But again, I could not find them for sale in the UK, and believe me guys, I've searched for them. Anyway, without further ado, guys, this is it. This video is probably a little bit of a mess already, and I just want this car out of here. So without further ado, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there's some information here you can find useful. If you do have any questions, any comments, please put them below. And like always, thanks for watching.